to the wisdom flow. Revenue ramp, let's go, let's go.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to RevRag AI podcast. I'm Arshik and your host for today's session. Now, when we talk about lending in India, there are very different worlds. There's one side where you've got massive corporate portfolios, and on the other side, there's an MSME shopkeeper who just needs a quick credit to keep his business going. And today we have somebody with us who's lived through both. Samrath started his career with a decade in banking, then made the leap into fintech. Today, he's the product head of lending products at Tata Digital, where he's scaling products for millions of Indians. Samrath, welcome to the RevRag AI podcast. So glad to have you with us.
Thanks, Arushi. Thanks, Ashutosh, for having.
And joining Samrath is somebody who is embedding AI into the digital onboarding flows. Ashutosh is the co-founder and CEO at RevRag. Thanks for coming in today, Ashutosh.
Thanks, Samrat. Thanks, Arushi. Thanks.
Awesome. Samrath, let's start by understanding your journey a bit. Can you tell us how the first decade taught you about credit and scale?
Sure. So basically, I was a part of the corporate banking team at Yes Bank and before that HDFC Bank. So our role was to basically reach out to large corporates, understand their finances and the kind of problems that they are facing with reference to financing. And we used structured credit facilities according to their requirements. So every large corporate works differently. But I thought that, okay, so this is whatever I'm doing, it is only for these set of 25 to 30 corporates, right? How can I now move a role where I built a product and bringing much larger impact? Could have been earlier also, but yeah, I spent 10 years in banking and then started looking for a change.
This was before the COVID era, right? Where I think digitization had not reached a lot of places. How do you see India in credit back then versus how it is right now in terms of digital reach?
Yeah, this was pre-COVID. And in fact, I joined a Ford Plan in early 2019, right? So this was an early stage startup, right? And we were trying to do something with healthcare affordability. And the product that they had earlier was not digital at all, right? So when I joined, hospitals had a problem that these were small and mid-sized hospitals, right? They were not able to retain the customers throughout the treatment, and the customers had the problem of affordability. So we had to combine both these things. That's why we made a healthcare digital payments platform.
Going from banking to fintech, already scaling big products to starting from scratch, 0 to 1 journeys. How was the change for you?
Yeah, it was not very smooth, I would say. We had our office in Mohan Cooperative and not at a fancy place. And right at the back of that office was ICD Tughlakabad. So we had large trucks moving around with containers. In the first 2-3 weeks only, we started going to the target segment of the hospital, the small and mid-sized hospitals. So 0 to 1, I think requires, a lot of understanding the problems of the customer, right? Without having any particular lens on. You go out in the market and you have to first think that this is the customer, this is the service provider, and this is the transaction that they are having. What are the challenges that they are facing? So that's the kind of thought process you need to start with.
Makes sense. It's actually quite interesting how your journey has been. Can you also tell me a bit about Ziploan? Was the journey similar to how it was at a Ford Plan, or was it different?
When I joined Ziploan, so they were an NBFC giving business loans at around about 27-28%. Ticket size was around 2 to 3 lakh. So when I told my cousin who is into a manufacturing business, he was like, oh, who will take loans at 27-26%? I get loans from my bank at 12%, 11%. And I thought, what is the market out there, right? But the truth is that there are a lot of small businesses who are underbanked, and there are two options for them to actually get loans. One is secured. Most of them do not have a property. That is why they go for unsecured, and unsecured is generally a bit higher in terms of costing.
Samrat, how did you see the people react to the digital scaling of these loans?
2-3 things that actually aided digital loan was the public infrastructure, right? The ability for the NBFCs to do KYC digitally, right? That is one of an important parameter here, right? Using DigiLocker, or and then also ability to underwrite, analyzing the bank statement of a customer, so uploading the PDF into the app. That opens up the opportunity of making the entire journey digital. So when all these things started coming into existence, the entire journey could be digitized.
Makes sense. After your stint at Ziploan, you shifted to digital, right? Can you tell us a bit about your experience there?
Tata Digital is a consumer arm of the digital businesses for Tata Group. So I'm taking care of lending here. So we are essentially a marketplace, right? What marketplace does is it connects the service provider with the buyer, right? So when I have to get a loan, I need not download 4 or 5 different apps to see from where I'm getting the best loan. That's the role that a marketplace plays. When I joined in 2022, we started with one single lender, which is Tata Capital, our group company, right? We started adding more lenders, sort of made the journey more and more seamless, right? It was a deep integration with all the lenders. Customers did not have to fill anything multiple times, right? You have given us this information, you don't have to give again. All these things were ensured to make a seamless journey. And we started with obviously zero at that point of time. We are doing more than 150 crores today a month. So that's the kind of scale that we have reached.
That's massive. You just mentioned, right, like making a really seamless experience for users. Along the same lines, I just have a question for Ashutosh, because he's been building something similar at RevRad. So Ashutosh, you've been building solutions in onboarding of users on digital applications very seamless. How have their reactions been, and how have you been able to convince them on having AI agents on their digital phones?
I think when we started, what we were trying to do was replicate the experience that is there on the contact center. So whenever there is a customer who is, let's say, applying for a loan, right, and was there on the KYC or on the offer page or on AA, the account aggregator, have dropped off, BFSI companies tend to call them and bring them back, right? Kind of reactivation or recovery of sort. Right? So first experience was to bring those people back in the journey. Whatever the CAC is lost, you have to basically uh, recover that CAC and reduce the overall CAC, uh, so that it makes sense for the client and it makes sense for the BFSI or fintech or even insurtechs. Slowly and gradually, we realized uh, that it is a reactive approach, meaning whenever the customer drops off, then actually you are trying to bring that customer back, right? It's a overall reactive approach. What we thought, and there was one more thing that was happening as it was AI agent. People tend to basically lie on the phone that, okay, I have opened the app, okay, I'm at this page, okay, I've clicked this, okay, I have done that. It's so on and so forth. So we realized that we need eyes and ears on the application, on the digital journey overall, to understand where the customer is right now, what they are doing, what they are clicking, but have they opened the app or not, so on and so forth. Right? Again, uh, the idea came about that, okay, how can we make it a, a proactive approach and then go predictive in that nature, that okay, if let's say you're applying the loan and you are struggling at a point and you were just about to let's say drop off, how can we predict that you are about to drop off, right, and you are struggling, and we can help you right there so that the drop off is reduced. And I'll give you some numbers, right? So uh, let's say 100 people drop off from a journey, right? We are only able to connect to 30 people. This is the connectivity rate, right, today. And then out of that 30, only 10% of that customers come back to their app. It starts to look good when there are large numbers, right? But overall, if you see, there is a massive loss that has happened after a drop off, right? So the idea was to basically keep those people on the app, do not let them drop, guide them from point A to point B. And we saw that there are three type of customers. One is a self-serve customer which doesn't need any help, and they will be able to basically go through the journey by themselves, so you don't have to disturb them. Second is a customer who has came for offer shopping, meaning they are just here to see, okay, how much I'm getting, how much I'm not getting, and because they are applying everywhere, right? In terms of loan. Then there are third type of customers, which as a BFI, as a BFSI, we want to help. These third type of customers are the struggling customers, which genuinely need help. It can be an NTC customer, new to credit customer, right? Uh, are not able to understand, okay, how can I apply? I want to negotiate. I want to understand what was my processing fees, why you're charging a processing fees, so on and so forth. So these were some users that we wanted to help, and to identify these users, you need eyes and ears on the application, right? You need eyes and ears on the overall digital journey, and that's how embedded AI agents came into play, meaning in-app AI agents came into play, and we started deploying those. And when we started deploying those, overall, uh, the we thought that it might be intrusive in nature, but uh, we saw that there is a high comfort from people because they think that it's human, and people in India are very assistive led. So we saw higher jumps in conversions. Even reactivation was something that we started doing. So now we know, okay, if this customer is dropping off, then how can we bring that customer? Because that part we were already doing, right? So it became a full package solution in onboarding while customers were trying like applying for a loan or different financial products, right? Initially we were thinking that it might be too intrusive, but in BFSI, healthcare, insurtechs, insurance overall, and in these type of categories, people are actually uh, very comfortable with intrusive nature of support, right? Because they have been dealing with a lot of agents, and they comfortably give their information to an agent. Now, the point is that you need to be, because you're working with an RE, a regulated entity, you have to be fully compliant, right? You can't basically read their PAN, read their Aadhaar, read their like PII data, right? So you have to make an agent which is not able to do that, at the same time is adhering the complication of the data security.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, Samrat, we are talking about improving the customer experience, right? And you have worked across multiple products in all of these years. What do you think about AI now being embedded into these customer journeys? And in which capacity do you think would be the most efficient use?
So we are also experimenting with AI-led features at Tata Digital. I think there are different pockets where these things are happening. So one could be, the top of the funnel part where the customer hasn't shown any interest right now, but the campaign has gone to them and maybe they have clicked on a campaign. So managing that, if a customer clicked on X campaign, they should land on a page which is matching the theme of that campaign, right? So this is something that we are working on. Plus, but then we have high propensity, sort of high affluence base. So WhatsApp campaigns or reaching out to those bases, but there could be certain voice bots also, voice agents also, which can connect to this base. This is obviously a large base, creating those multimodal capabilities to reach out to the customers and answer their initial queries, which is maybe, keeping them away from even trying out. What are those queries? We can help answer that. Plus, which Ashutosh also said, like the drop-offs, right? So drop-off could happen due to different reasons. And, if we are giving a chatbot within the your journey screens, any kind of queries or help which is required could be addressed there and then. So these are some of the things which can basically smoothen out the customer experience, right? And result in more uh, applications, or sort of customers completing their applications.
Now, let's say there is an AI agent inside your app. So usually what we see is there's a chatbot or there's an option to talk to a human agent. We want somebody who is willing to assist us through all of the complex or technical jargon on the app. So what are your thoughts on an AI agent that is inside the app assisting you to complete your journey with voice?
Yeah, this is definitely reaching out to more number of customers. So I think I was looking at maybe a reel which has gone viral, that there is an old lady who's basically speaking to Chat GPT's voice version. Definitely, I think the inclusion that can be achieved through voice could be much higher. So there's a conversion here from speech to text and text to speech, which is happening on top of the any particular general LLM that we are using, plus along with context specific knowledge related to loans also put in. So all these factors will basically power this voice agents, and it will help us to reach out to people who are basically not very well versed with typing in their queries. And even if you have certain pre designed questions, even that could be difficult. Then there could be challenges in language also, right? Like English is not understood by, let's say, certain audience. So all of that would be taken care if we use this voice agent.
Samrat, you've been building personal loan journeys, right? Can you tell us some of the places in the journey where you've seen highest drop-offs? And there might not be certain AI solutions for that.
So yeah, I mean, even on the first application page, there are customers, there's a lot of drop off even before filling in their information. Like they could be thinking that if I fill this information, there could be a bureau hit and that can impact my score negatively, which is not true, right? And this could be a deterrent that, okay, if I definitely 100% want a loan right now, then only I should basically go ahead with the journey. So there could be an agent here which says that, okay, it will not affect your score negatively at this stage, but you can definitely know what kind of loan amount and what kind of ROI you can get. So that's one stage. Once you get a particular loan amount, right, and along with the ROI and processing fee, that's where a lot of drop offs happen. So because maybe that's not this per expectation of the customer. Like I said, people were quite surprised that, okay, we are getting loan at 25%, 26%. But if there could be an agent which can basically convince the user that if you are self-employed, so that's the kind of optimal range that you can get in the market. Yeah, if you are working for a top tier corporate, your salary can bring down the rate of interest a lot. But given your stage of occupation, your income, your bureau, your credit history, this is the best offer that you can get. Or there could be multiple stages also, like where customer wants to go ahead, but they are not able to complete their KYC. The DigiLocker pin is not, they are not able to move ahead of certain steps, like setting up the auto mandate from the bank. They don't have information about their IFSC code. So those could also be, that knowledge gap can be filled through these agents.
Samrat, now that we have almost covered everything and we are closer towards the end of the podcast, I want to understand from your building POV, how do you see lending and fintechs in the next 2-3 years with the usage of AI agents?
As Ashutosh also was mentioning, like, assisting the journey of the user, right? That can be a logical next step. What could be even more sort of disruptive could be not even having an application, rather than completing the entire application on a call, fetching, let's say, all the documents using a sort of a consent layer on top of it, right? So I think that could be the way forward. In fact, not just on customer experience, but also there are pockets in which we are working AI as a product team. Is that, let's say you want to give certain requirements to the tech team, and you use a vibe coding platform to actually create a small MVP or a workable model to give to the tech team, and they can that's better than giving any sort of written sort of requirements, right? And they can also use part of those codes to actually when they're building, and this can fast track the entire uh, product development life cycle. So those are also the pockets there where we are using AI, and it can not just for lending and fintech, but also any other digital product based companies can use.
Perfect. Thanks for your answer, Samrat. I think that really makes sense. I mean, the end goal is to make everything so easy for the user that there are no friction layers, and that's what the goal of building journeys with AI should also be. So, thank you for thank you for giving your time to us, Samrat. Just on an ending note, I have a small rapid fire round for you, just as a fun layer. So, there'll be 5 questions, and you just have to answer whatever comes to your mind in the first go. All right. So, one fintech or lending misconception that you want to debunk.
I think the one of the misconception is that India has a very large credit demand, and any kind of consumer platform which has a set of users can start utilizing it by doing lending. You have to create user friendly journeys. You have to partner with the right partners, the regulated entities, NBFCs, in order to create a meaningful business at the end of the month, right? So you have to, if you have a large set of users and there is credit demand, you can't just start doing lending business without having those basics in place.
That was actually quite interesting. On to the next one. So, if there's one hobby that you wish people knew you more for.
Yeah, I'm into endurance sports like running and swimming. So
Wow.
yeah, so those are my passions.
All right. If you were not in lending and previously fintechs, what industry would you be in?
I like enterprise SaaS also, like very much.
If you had to work from, basically, you had to work from some place, where would it be? One in India and one abroad.
Goa, I think Goa
Really?
could be on many people's list, but yeah, Goa is nice. And abroad could be, yeah, Greece maybe, like, because seems like I'm a beach person more. So yeah.
Well, I think these were very, very specific and unique choice. Awesome. Okay. Uh, I think we are done with our rapid fire round. Perfect. It was great having you, Samrat. Thanks for giving your time, your precious time. I know you might be getting slightly late for your office, but we really had a great conversation with you. Thanks a lot for coming and giving us your time.
Yeah, thanks Arushi, thanks Ashutosh for having me.
Thanks, Samrat.
It was great to interact.
No, absolutely. It was very lovely to pick your brains, understand how journeys are being built at Tata Digital, and what has been your journey overall. I think great. Thanks so much.